season. No, wait, the top 2 teams of the season. And so far, LGD is 1 game up over Virtus.pro, and partially that is maybe due to Virtus.pro being a little bit, I don't know if it's cockiness or experimental. We didn't actually decide yet either. They let through the IO. I don't think we're going to see FY play that again, because that was a very good performance from him. Definitely not in the second game as decided. Here with Sunsfan, Bulldog, as well as Trent. Trent, game number 2 coming up very, very soon.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? What needs to be changed?
Well,
we all want this 3rd game.
Even with an IO, game 1 was still better than the first series of the day. So
I mean, that wasn't
we're
that
already
hard.
up.
That
so
wasn't
this
that
is
hard
good.
to do.
Game 2.
Yeah, who casted that first game?
Yeah, I don't know. Why even listen? It was over so fast, honestly. So I think looking towards like FY, obviously we assume not going to be on the IO, so I'm looking for more of these classic heroes from as of late. That's where I want to go to. Show he's not just this like, oh, win the game on IO. I can win the game on Naga too. Can win the game on Clock. Can win the game on Elder Titan.
I am sorry.
So, there we
all
go.
those heroes will be banned, most likely.
Rubik. Possible.
We'll be
That's true.
banned.
Then we'll just go Rubik.
Can't ban them all.
You know, you only got
Here.
3.
Ban them all.
Yeah, okay.
Virtus.pro will ban one of them.
It just shows up with FY's face in the ban thing.
Yes.
That would be really awkward. I'm not sure where you go from there.
What do you think, Bulldog?
Probably just want to see a little bit more standard from VP. As I said before, this draft from them previously was a little bit too hard to win and execute. That's the problem with Tinker, is one misstep and it can cost so much.
Yeah.
Especially against a hero like Wisp, it's extra hard. So something more standard. Maybe just pull out a TA. I don't really like seeing the DP on Ramses. It's much better on no one. It just creates more space and control for the team so that Ramses can take over.
Yeah.
Do they ever draft Ramsey's hero not last? Like, it's most of the time, right?
Mostly,
unless they can secure like a Morphling second phase or something.
Well, obviously the DP was a little bit early, but we didn't know that was his until later. Which that's the crazy part, right? You can be able to select a two mid heroes essentially, because they're not going to ban anything. They're just going to focus all their bans on Ramsey's heroes, and they still get this other hero. Even though it didn't work out that game, they could still theoretically make that work with a little bit of a different lineup. But I mean, only time will tell to see if they will be more competitive this game or not. And IO is still there, but oh my. Oh my.
Oh my.
Well, isn't this
my.
Will
interesting?
Virtus.pro do what we said?
They are.
So they chose.
Again, second pick.
Yeah, they're not first
They
pick.
must have chosen side then. One would assume.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Huh.
I don't think they're banning it.
I don't.
They're thinking,
All right,
so
all right.
they're
Who's
just
in?
talking about
Who's
it.
in for the
Okay,
IO ban?
I'm
I'm out.
thinking-
No
They're not
ban.
banning. No ban.
No ban.
No,
Shiver?
because then they would have to go through. Oh no, they don't think they ban IO.
You don't think they're gonna ban the IO?
No.
Wow.
I mean, this is gonna
Well,
like
we all actually agree.
they're taking so long. If they were planning on doing that, like this is something that you could have decided in the break, you know. They could have decided, you know what, FYIO,
Yeah,
let's
they don't
not
look.
do it.
They don't look that confident though. They're thinking about it. He's got a piece of paper there.
He does.
I mean, they
Makes
clearly don't
business.
know either because we're in the
I
reserve
mean,
time here.
There's IO, there's Naga.
How
Those
does
are probably the two
how do you get to
highest
this
tier.
point in the draft right now where you're just like?
I think maybe they're just thinking about their picks rather than their bans. They probably already have the ban in mind.
VP did have the first selection about what they wanted, and they chose Radiant, by the way, over first pick.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly the side we're used to, but almost all teams going for first pick. That has not been a very common thing to see a team choose side instead.
LGD.
And it's a Bane ban.
All right, so IO,
IO.
first pick,
Ooh.
FY again.
Now, even though you lost game 1, if LGD don't
Look at
choose
them think
IO
about it.
here,
They're
do
thinking
you?
They're
about
like,
it.
Is that a
and they
victory?
really- look at them
Huh?
smile. It's like, is this a trap?
If they don't
Can
pick
we
IO
do
here,
this?
is that a victory for VP?
Yes.
The VP takes it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
It's just
Yeah, they're probably going to change something on VP though, because last time they took Beastmaster DP. So maybe they want to like steal the gyro this time around, not give it away to LGD, because we see that free
That's
Ags is pretty annoying to play against. Maybe they could also go Disruptor Naga, which is pretty good to
They're gonna do
counter,
it.
Yeah.
counter the Wisp.
Man, we are oracles.
What's the plan here then?
I mean, LGD could have done the same thing, right? They could have let VP have IO and see how they do against it, just to see if they could beat it. But they chose the secure option.
I'd like a Naga +1. I feel like
I
that
think
would
Gyro,
be an okay
Gyro
option.
Naga.
Gyro Naga is pretty good, yeah.
Nice
Or the
something.
Disruptor is also a good counter.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I kind of like going for the solo hero as the counter too, as you said. Like
5
the
seconds
Naga,
remaining.
sure, it's a good, decent counter, but then that kind of takes Roger off of maybe some of his better, like more aggressive heroes. Like I still think he executed pretty well in the Clockwork there, considering the game he had, and some of his more iconic heroes there, like the Slardar or something. Those
Surely they don't pick the same hero, so Beastmaster DP.
I don't think so.
They gotta do something different, right?
I mean, I
like
wouldn't be
Beast is
surprised
a-
with a Beastmaster.
Yeah, I agree. But not DP.
Go gyro instead. Gyro.
Wow, crazy.
Wow.
Animals.
In the world.
This is great.
But now it's not going to be Ramses.
Now, guys, what do you think LGD are going to pick?
It might be a gyrocopter.
Wow.
Could it be?
I have my money on Eurocopter.
To be honest,
I think gyrocopter.
I don't think they're gonna
Yeah.
get Bloodseeker.
Remaining.
Maybe Bloodseeker instead. I don't know. I still think gyrocopter,
5
but if they're not
seconds remaining.
gyrocoptering,
They're also thinking about it. Really hard drafting here.
look at that smile as well. They're like, you know, someone hands you a cake, but the person handing you the cake is actually your enemy. It's like, is it poison?
Yeah.
Right.
And also that game, they had a really bad laning
LGD
phase.
turn to
Hey!
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. I mean, he was amazing. I feel like maybe we didn't give him enough credit in the post game after the last one, but there were a couple amazing plays of the Remnants during those games. Like when the Yules would go up, he would just chuck the Remnant on top of the Yules, go kill someone else, and by the time he was coming back down, he'd secure the kill on top of Ramses.
All right.
Here's a question for you guys. So we talk about how Wisp has these great duos, right?
10
Gyrocopter,
seconds
etc.
remaining.
The old tiny of the old, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think about
5
Aghanim
seconds
Scepter
remaining.
as being part of that duo now?
I think it's pretty important, honestly. Like, there's a big reason why the Gyrocopter one is so. I mean, Gyro's just special because he has the Aghanims, he has the ally attacks target thing. Like, it's pretty damn perfect. It's
Although
extremely
he
synergistic.
didn't go for that talent.
True. What about, like,
But
you
Gyro
know,
probably gets banned.
yeah, you know what has never
Virtus
been explored
Pro's
is the
turn to
CK, the
ban.
new CK Aghanims that you could
LGD's
give with the
turn to
IO.
ban.
But who would you cast it on?
yourself. It makes no
Wow,
sense.
wait, well, it takes off 40 seconds off the cooldown, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, it's not the worst.
No.
That's like a 70-second Phantasm. That's pretty good.
Someday we'll have the support CK IO into the Luna.
That's
The
yeah.
true dream.
Okay,
You're welcome, LGD.
I like that.
They're listening.
Yeah.
They're not.
That wouldn't be
focusing
good.
on
They're
the
not
game.
supposed to be.
Turn to
I mean,
ban.
I'm pretty. You still ban Gyro here. Surely.
It's a lot of the same picks
No
and
one's
the same bands.
Yeah, the same heroes are available still.
Yep.
But we're definitely going to see a switch up here. There's no way the Ramses play DP this game round.
Yeah.
Surely they will make some. Only if they maybe pick maybe something like a TA
10
for no one and
seconds
try to go all out snowball. They could put a Ramses on it. But I don't know.
5
Saw
seconds
Art Style
remaining.
just stood up and Soul came back in, and I feel like Soul's gonna say, "What have you guys been doing? what happened?"
I go to the toilet. And this is what happens. Oh dear.
All right, so for like the
You
third
just
time this
go.
round.
What?
Oh my
What?
god.
Oh,
The
what?
blank ban.
That is a blank
That's
ban.
the throwaway ban.
It is.
That's a throwaway ban.
Man, I love these next level plays, honestly. This is like mental fortitude right
They
here.
do not want to give anything away that they might be like, oh,
Look at that now.
Like,
You have to know
oh
what's
my
happening.
god.
He's picking his nose. Stop that right now.
There's going to be a lot of tips this game. I think, what
Look
do you think
at
about
Solo.
Morph?
He's just
Yeah, he's very red in the face, isn't he?
10
Yeah, but
seconds
it's from laughter,
Yeah,
at least not
exactly.
from anger.
5 seconds
What do you guys think
remaining.
of Ramses Morph this game?
it's banned, like it
It
was
is
last
banned.
game, because
Yeah.
it's the same
oh,
bands.
5th ban. Yeah, you're right. Well, what do you think of Ramses Morph?
I think it will be very
I mean,
good.
it's great.
I like it.
Solo Disruptor, by the way, that's a staple for him. Even when Disruptor was not picked by any other team, Solo still played Disruptor.
Indeed, always makes it look good.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the IO plus one used to be the classic
Alright.
disruptor one you want to counter. Well,
All right.
you
same
said I don't
heroes.
think they'll get the Bloodseeker, and
not
of course
sure
that
why
means
they
they'll
pick
get the
Oh,
Bloodseeker.
of course, I was not doubting it for a
But
second.
why don't they
No.
pick the Gyro, who's the best with the Wisp? It doesn't make any sense.
Because they think Virtus.pro has that countered somehow, right? With the last pick. Which, wait, who gets last pick? Like last?
Last is
Pro.
LG.
Or
Or yeah,
Virtus
sorry.
Pro.
10 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
By the way, why Disruptor over Jakiro? Jakiro was
5
still, I mean, if they're
seconds
going to copy
remaining.
things that have already happened, you know.
I think
What was wrong
Disruptor's
with the
just better.
Jakiro?
It's against
Yeah?
the Wisp. You can just send someone back when they relocate in.
Okay.
And also you can just, since you see where the relocate happens, you can just prepare with the circle, kinetic field, and ult.
It was also before the Ember that they picked the Jakiro, right? Last time,
Yes.
whereas the Disruptor's a lot better versus the Ember, so
Fair
makes
enough.
it better this game.
So this is Virtus.pro basically saying, hey, we might end up with the exact same lineup. The reason we lost is because we screwed up something.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yeah.
the draft.
And there wasn't not a lot of screw up either because they were dominating the laning
Yeah.
phase and the early game.
But that's very intriguing, isn't it?
I
mean,
think
that's
the Tinker was the key thing though, because he started fighting before he really had enough items. It felt like he just had that Yules, and then he was in all of these engagements over and over. And it's just like, man, if he was just like that one extra item, if he could have gotten that Aghanim Scepter or something, it feels like it could have gone completely
Yeah, they
differently.
probably watched Miracle play it
Yeah.
and got a little
There
bit
we
from
go.
that, but then he realized he's not as good as Miracle, so got to switch out that hero now.
Happens to the best of us, you know.
So Lion for, what was it, Clockwork before?
Yes, correct. Now, Virtus.pro doesn't get beaten very often, so perhaps they just got beaten by LGD. They're like, well, we should be able to beat that. Let's tweak it and see if we can face the same lineup, right?
All right, now
10
surely,
seconds
No,
remaining.
surely,
Ah.
the gyro will be banned next. So you've
Oh,
got to
okay.
go
5
for it now if you
seconds
want it.
remaining.
Yeah.
Well, they picked Witch Doctor last game.
Yeah, Witch Doctor was in the previous game.
So you just pick Witch Doctor now.
I mean, the double heal was great. Still looks okay.
And they pick up the Lion, which is a very undervalued hero this tournament
Yeah.
for sure. And it's pretty good against Wisp because you have that burst potential, and Wisp is someone that it doesn't. Well, he kind of slowly heals you, but he's got those burst heals as well. So if you can just match that and just kill the hero really quick, or kill Wisp really quick, it's really good.
Gives you a Hex versus Ember. And it's also okay against Bloodseeker, honestly, because when he's running at you, you just have such a ridiculous amount of time to kind of control him during a team fight that sometimes it's worth trading your Lion to stun lock a Bloodseeker for like 7 seconds. That might be enough time for your team to win the rest of the engagement.
They're taking their time.
They are really thinking.
This has definitely been one of the more entertaining drafts of the tournament so far.
100%.
Like, this is just...
It's like you're expecting, top 2 teams. There's going to be massive mind games. It's like, well, let's ban techies.
Yep.
Let's not ban anything. Let's let the enemy have the exact same lineup they just won with. And they could if they went for the gyro.
They don't feel like it all because they're waiting too long. Now they want something different here. And I'm
Yeah.
not, what is the hero you want here? Probably
Depends
pick
on
up
what
an
you think,
offlaner.
Ramsey's
Lincoln's hero is very good this game.
Oh, you
Go
just go
ahead.
Witch Doctor. Yeah. Or you just go Witch Doctor.
And they instantly start the chat wheel spam, yeah. This is good.
Surely. Sure. And Big Iroh.
Or you can ban, I don't know, anything else. What's here? Huskar.
Yeah, there you
Hero
go.
that nobody picks.
I don't think they banned Gyro. They would have banned him
10
earlier.
seconds remaining.
Like they
No,
obviously
come
feel
on.
very
At this
comfortable here.
point, come on. Like,
5
what could
seconds
possibly... I
remaining.
mean,
They want them to
he's
pick the
even
same
a
lineups
decent
to
Lincoln's
prove
builder.
They-
that
yeah.
they can beat them.
I am with Suns fan on this.
This is
one.
like a tier 1 team mentality, It can be considered very cocky, but I mean, everybody's...
Oh my
See, Luna.
Ban.
The question is, what is Ramsey's going to play? This is the big question mark. 'Cause I do think they're going to end up getting Gyro for LGD again.
Maybe.
if they want to pick it.
Maybe they ban Gyro themselves.
the next level
fun.
play.
Yeah, exactly. Why does it look like Arcel's wearing a Team Secret shirt?
Because it's
10
black.
seconds.
Big
and
fan.
it has a stripe, a white stripe on it, but it's not a Team Secret shirt, as you can
5
clearly see
seconds
now.
remaining.
As you can clearly see.
Clearly.
You idiot.
Team's turn.
Lifestealer ban coming out.
Okay.
Now the question is it going to be 5 for 5?
I
It's
hope
just
so.
too good to say no if you're
Right?
LGD
Come
at this
on.
point. Like,
Come on.
It's like
You-
it works.
you're insulted if you're LGD and you don't pick it here.
Yeah, that
You
shows
know?
that you're scared. You got to man up.
Exactly. You're up a game.
They're holding out with all the time
10
again here.
seconds
Thinking
remaining.
real hard.
They're playing with VP. They're not. They already know. They're just like, yeah, we'll make them
5
wait, make them
seconds
sweat on
remaining.
it.
They're like, what could they possibly throw at us that would make such a big difference compared to previous game?
13 seconds.
It's going to be a big shock. I can feel it. Gyro Cup.
Virtus.pro's
And-
turn to pick.
Oh, the
Oh.
Bloodseeker core and
They-
won
No
instead.
way.
Oh, wow.
They got scared, man.
Unbelievable.
They got scared. Well, now the partner for IO is Bloodseeker, the double rupture, Aghanim
Yes.
Scepter. I don't... How does it work with Brew? If you're
You should
tethered
get
and
it.
you do Primal Split,
Yeah,
you
you would
get
get
the
it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't need to be tethered any longer, I assume.
That's
No,
pretty good.
'cause
No,
it's-
it's just for the
5
cast.
Yeah, that's
seconds
very good.
remaining.
But then you also still have to, like, those are kind of tricky because then you have to switch. So you have to be, like, pre-set up and
Yeah.
then you want your tether to be back off cooldown so you can switch over to the hero that you actually care about.
So one more hero for Virtus.pro. They will
Gyro.
round up this lineup with the
That would
OD,
have
Your
been
hero.
good.
which is also a really good hero against IO, by the way.
Yeah, no, not too
Okay.
bad. They have a save. Of course, you can blood right down post Astral, which is pretty annoying.
Huh. Well, I think I have my choice. I'm going to go with Io again. It seems like a safe bet. What is his win rate? This freaking, it's like 80% probably?
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
very
I'm going to
high.
go LGD. I didn't think I would go for a 2-0 LGD win, but VP are very confident. Maybe too confident.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll agree with Mr. NA person here.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
So that's all I have to say.
Fortune favors the bold. Virtus.pro. Come on. Come on. You got to go for that, right? Let's go.
I mean, I'm
Let's
all for a
go.
third game, and I'm sure our commentators will want to see that third game as well. Let's head over to them right now. It is Capitalist and Gods.
Surely LGD does not get Wisp. Surely Virtus.pro do not open the same way.
No, that's not
Surely LGD don't get almost exactly the same lineup. Surely you can't be serious. Well, I am serious. Don't call me Shirley. Gods, what happened? What happened to our draft? Easiest money of my life.
I will
That's
let
what
the
LGD's saying right
chat
now.
will speak for us. This is interesting. IO, 89% win rate. 8 wins, 1 loss this tournament. That 1 loss, Team Spirit should have beat Liquid. They threw
Yes.
that game. So IO should be 100% win rate right now. I don't know about giving up this hero. At the same time, nobody's able to beat it. If there's any team who would theoretically put themselves at a disadvantage to try and improve and test themselves and beat the hero, it's probably VP. They're in the winner bracket. They're a cocky team. Let's be real here. And given that they have a second life in the lower bracket, I think they just said, let's try and beat it.
But LGD did give us that curveball at the end. It was not the last pick Gyrocopter. It was a last pick Brewmaster, which does change it to an Ame Bloodseeker, and Chalice is going to be playing that Brewmaster in the bottom lane. We're going to have a small engagement here on both sides. Nice double stun, but the Bounty Rune is still all LGDs.
Yep. As good as the Gyro ended up being in the late game, I kind of look at that last game and think, if you think about which hero on each side was a bit of a liability, or which hero do you regret picking, I think the Gyrocopter was the weak pick for LGD because it put them behind for the first 20 minutes, and that's a position you don't want to be against VP. And for VP, it was the Tinker. This hero, despite having this amazing lane, doesn't carry the game. That is a problem in itself. So the adjustments from both teams is the Brewmaster off lane and the OD mid for no one.
So we do have some, we won't have the Gyrocopter Ags upgrade, but we will have some interesting ones. The Brewmaster, you can get the Ags upgrade for him. He can prop the Primal Split and get those big Brewlings that all have that extra ability. And the Bloodseeker as well. He can get multiple Rupture charges.
Yep, still some nice ones this game, and we'll see where FY looks to go as far as his tethered priority, but probably that frontlining Bloodseeker as the #1. Interesting that VP picked 2 traditional 5-position heroes, the Lion with Disruptor, but they are going to have some pretty strong lanes as a result. Roger joining Pasha in the off lane, a lot of harass coming out from these two.
Both of them very good at being able to beat Wisp lineups, right? You have the direct burst damage against a hero before the relocate, or maybe even the Wisp himself. You have Blink Initiation, and you've got AoE control.
Yep. The Witch Doctor's had to go for this level 1 Voodoo Restoration. He's just looking to stay alive against this lane as much as possible, as well as help out Ame sustained. But Ame himself has Blood Rage, so he's actually not being pressured too much by the dual lane, and that's where it does feel like this VP offlane is maybe not quite having the success they were hoping for when they sent it up there.
They are getting an equal amount of success as they did last game, it seems. In the mid lane, no one OD against an Ember Spirit. Once again, it's an unfavorable matchup for the Ember. Roger's going to be chased down by Ame. Not quite getting the kill. He gave up on it. And, well, that's just unfortunate. That would have been first blood.
Yeah, that would have been a really nice boost to this LGD safe lane. They're already having a good time up here and getting good denies while getting last hits, but no first blood for them. Definitely the OD mid, the favorable matchup that VP wanted, deciding they put a favorable matchup like last game, but also a hero that is just going to scale better and also just suit no one better. He's probably one of the best OD players out there, and showing it here so far against the Ember of Maybe.
Brewmaster Wisp seems to be pretty good at being able to pressure, but Ramses trying to go for the Spirit Siphon onto FY. FY's still going to challenge Ramses here. He thinks he can actually do this when the Fairy Fire is pretty close. They managed to get the Hex out on the Brewmaster, slowing down the damage on Ramses, and he will survive, getting the first blood onto FY.
Interesting. Io had a salve that he popped like in the middle of 2 enemy heroes. He was not going to get any real regen from that one, and was heavily punished for it. And we'll lose Death Prophet to the neutrals, just to self-deny. Nothing much to it.
Solo, though, is going to get dove underneath the tower. They will be able to pick up that kill at the same time. Top lane, Ame did get quite low. He's popped his healing salve. And this is kind of what you need to do against these Bloodseeker lineups, is somehow find a way to get a lot of damage on him and threaten him out of lane. But unfortunately, Roger and Pasha, as you said earlier, not really quite having that strong aggro dual lane presence.
Yeah, and partly why the Death Prophet has to suicide to Newt's bottom is you are playing against the Bloodseeker. You don't want to have to walk back to base while low health. You want to be able to heal up as soon as possible. Otherwise, this Bloodseeker will overrun the top lane. Ame needs to be a little bit careful. Doesn't get caught in the kinetic field, luckily, because the damage output from those axes with an Orb of Venom Disruptor right-clicking you is pretty fearsome.
The Spirits nailing the bottom lane. Solo's pretty low. Ame's taking full advantage of that. Meanwhile, mid lane is just so rough. You've got a pretty big deny lead for this OD. 24-12, 16-1 for the Ember Spirit, but he just picked up a haste rune, so maybe he can offset this laning phase by running around and getting himself some kills. And Roger all of a sudden discovers that maybe he had a little bit of rune luck. And will end up dying.
Nicely played. Doesn't go for that extra +1. He just wants to get back to mid as soon as possible.
Chalice slows him down. The help of FY, they certainly can just keep running at Solo. He does have a Mango, turn around with the Earth Spike. It's coming up in a second. Buys himself enough time. FY had to jump away. He does have a tether to come in. If Chalice spots Solo once again, and you spot him for a moment, they have the Bloodseeker vision as well. There's no way for Solo to get away. Bloodseeker at the top lane is going for the kill onto the... Oh, barely gets it onto the Disruptor. Gets a little bit of heal. The axes come out. Blood right, big hit. Pasha trying to kill X-Nova, but the Voodoo Restoration is keeping both of them alive. Ame gets the double kill.
Man, that's the result of everyone getting so low at bottom. Solo's Disruptor was on a sliver of health, and that just enables this safe lane Bloodseeker. 2 points in their thirst. He's able to get all this extra movement speed and damage, find those kills. And FY with the bottle is already healing up his dual lane, so really hard laning stage for VP, a team used to kind of coming out on top of this part of the game.
Ramsey's slowed down by the Spirits, hit by the clap. He's going to die again here. The Earth Spike comes out. They're going to try and finish off FY. Maybe Ramsey's can actually run away from Chalice. Gets one more hit. Sleight of Fist comes in. Maybe once again making some rotations. He said, screw the mid lane. That's not my home anymore. I am all over the map from now on.
Back at top, Roger's being run at, and he does not have a TP scroll out of this one. Ame can't really chase through the kinetic field, however.
Oh, is he going to go for the glimpse play? He does have a glimpse coming up, and now Ramsey's here. He does not have a Spirit Siphon. Glimpse back. Still silence up. TP out. Ame. Oh, it's going to be close, but he can't quite make it.
When you go for that TP and don't make it out, suddenly you're respawning fairly quickly, but you can't TP the lane. So a lot of downtime for Ame's Bloodseeker. But while this is going on, his team is pressuring a T1 towers. Maybe's rotation comes with a Siege Wagon. I love that move towards bottom because his lane mid is pretty damn rough. He's not really farming at all there, so he may as well get these side lane kills, and if you can turn them into towers, it just makes it that little bit more efficient.
And Brewmaster, he can go ahead, TP up to the top lane, stand in front of this push. After all, it's a Death Prophet. He may have a Siege Wagon, but no level 6. As long as he doesn't die in the process of defending his tower, that's going to be okay. But that's why Roger's going to come in with the Kinetic Field, run him down with the Spirit Siphon. He does have magic stick charges, but he can't juke in the trees thanks to the vision from Thunderstrike.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious TPing up there when VP aren't playing around mid lane at all. They're just giving no one this free lane. He is free farming. He doesn't need any help. So if VP aren't defending bottom lane, you've got to assume they're going to be doing the same thing, top pressuring it.
Bloodright with the shackles, they're going to be able to catch Solo here. Ame is going to go for this kill. The OT is here with the imprisonment. They're going to be able to catch him with the Hex. Imprisonment up, Solo, 4 seconds for the Earth Spike. Can he just run down Ame? Ame commits to try and kill Solo and tries to go for the kill, but he is outgunned.
You can see the Ember there, thinking about going back in, but he doesn't have level 6. This OD is level 8 against a level 5 Ember. Really speaking to just how one-sided that mid lane matchup is for the Ember, who has managed to have an impact. 3-0 Maybe's Ember, but he needs to find some experience. Otherwise, he's just going to trail further and further behind the OD at this rate.
Simultaneously, though, it is decent, at least, that you can rotate without fear of losing your tower, right? OD just isn't that kind of hero that can pressure towers easily when the lane's left alone.
And he'd rather just go for all those denies than push out the wave to the tower to try to chip away at it, because that's when you can get that easy experience. Even if it's on Ember, it could just be someone like a support. We see Witch Doctor mid. Suddenly Nova is almost actually hitting level 6 on Witch Doctor, and we're just 8 minutes in the game.
Finally, maybe does get his level 6, so he won't be out-leveled by a Witch Doctor in this early game just yet. It's funny that he makes all those rotations without even having his remnants.
Yep.
And he's going to find another haste rune.
It's the S4 haste runes coming into play in the early game. And, find these easy kills with them, although I'm not sure this one will have the same fortune. Is scouted out by a VP Observer Ward, so it does look like Somnus is just going to be farming some jungle with it.
Well, Death Prophet has a free lane at top. Chalice finally gets his level 6 at bottom as the Brewmaster. And he's closing in on that Blink Dagger. Good 700, 800 gold away.
Ame on the Bloodseeker, just level 5.5 here, so a lot of experience deficit on the side of LGD, who, imagine Chalice is telling his team, we can make some plays, I have my ultimate, but if you group up at this point when you're already behind on levels, you're just going to find yourself falling further and further behind in experience.
At least FY can kind of catch up as a support. We saw how successfully he farmed up jungle nonstop in the last game and speed boosted himself to that early level 15. He's going to be trying to do the same while still chilling out with Chalice in the bottom lane. If they go for a gank on him, he can tether mid lane. Nova is going to be canceled. And Imprisonment should finish him off. No, not quite enough. So instead, it's going to be Roger who takes that kill over the bottom lane. They do manage to run into the Wisp first. And Brewmaster, well, what's he going to do? He's going to pop his ultimate, turn and fight, see if he can actually kill the Lion and still somehow get out. Throws the Cyclone up on that Brewmaster, but he's lacking the damage to be able to finish off Solo right away. In fact, there's still an Earth Spike up, and 3 seconds time, he's going to come back in and won't have anywhere to go. The Kinetic Field's going to spot him out. He tries to put himself next to Solo, and it's close with 1 crit, not quite enough. He gets sent back to where he once was.
That's a Primal Split and everything. In mid lane, TP out from OD. They went on him trying to look for a counter kill, but once that Searing Chains is used, there's nothing to lock down the OD. Really big kill on that Brew. Puts the ulti on cooldown, and that's kind of the big playmaking tool that LGD have, and all of a sudden it's taken away from them. Should have perhaps just gave away his life there.
Exorcism, oh boy, FY and X-Nova just run straight into that one. They do have a glimpse in a second, and pull him right back into the clutching hands of Ramses. And okay, you're gonna have to use another Urn Charge for that one. X-Nova's out healing it bit by bit. 9 HP, 7,
6,
Whoop.
and 1.
And 1.
Okay. Underestimating that Witch Doctor heal. Death Prophet could have definitely got some more damage out there with the Exorcism, but he just didn't want to go in any closer. Not the end of the world. Just a support kill, but Exorcism was committed. Not that you're looking at these like 10-minute Exorcisms to achieve a whole lot.
Maybe jumps away real quickly. He's afraid of getting disabled near that Beastmaster.
Level 6 Lion too. This is where suddenly your 5 position has this big kill potential, and they deward the cliff, make sure there's nothing up there, and immediately smoke up Solo and Roger, hoping to find a kill somewhere on the map.
Hemming and hawing, not sure which way to go. See if they want to run mid or wrap around on this Bloodseeker. They finally settle it. We're going to go for the Bloodseeker kill. Glimpse him back into the roar. Should be a pretty easy 1, 2, 3 with the Finger of Death. It makes Ame incredibly squishy.
Yep. Good call, VP. Just making sure they get a core hero. They don't smoke very far, but they want to make sure they don't have their smoke get popped without getting a kill. Going up like that river into the top bounty rune area is just very risky that your smokes pops and you don't actually get a kill. Solo getting a nice little D-ward as well for his trouble up top.
Ramses chilling out behind no one. He saw that LGD were kind of itching to dive him, so he's been sticking around a bit. Finally shows himself as his supports try and wrap in, see if they can get the glimpse. Roger's going to spot FY, pull him back into that kinetic field, now with a static storm, but Child's going to come in, hits a good clap, now with his ultimate double, triple remnant onto the 2 supports. They both get blown up, and FY will barely survive. Now they're going to try and catch some more heroes in the back line. Ramses, he gets thrown up in the tornado, but they want the OD, or no, they're just going to go for the kill onto Ramses. Spirit Siphon onto one of the pandas, won't keep him alive. Ame. He came in from behind just to make sure that no one could escape.
Yeah, Good collapse on this mid lane. Doing it when you know VP don't have Exorcism. So if you bring enough numbers, even though you've had maybe a slightly shakier earlier game in a 5v5 or a 5v4 scenario, you're going to come out on top if Exorcism's on cooldown. Not to mention Finger of Death, a very big important spell in this early game stage because of the amount of damage it puts out. If that's on cooldown, line is suddenly just a disable, no longer a disable with burst.
It's very interesting to me how different these Wisps play from the way it used to be. Like, when you play Wisps now, you want to be pretty much by yourself for like the first 20 minutes of this game, farming up the neutrals, pushing out lanes. Like, you want all that solo experience. You play a very greedy role as a support in this game, whereas older Wisps were a lot more just pretty much passively sitting behind your core.
Really see it. VP seem to be looking to hunt him down. They'll find a Curry instead, but not perhaps the IO kill they're looking for. They are pinging out his location on the map. They seem to have a pretty good idea of where he is as they've set up all these wards deep in the Dire jungle. But FY will somehow evade this gank.
So instead, Virtus.pro just going to have to go for the Exorcism push. Or not. We're going to hold on to it for now.
I think last time they used it, they got pretty heavily punished for it, and with Brewmaster split up in 30 seconds, maybe wiser just to try and take these objectives and towers without using Exorcism. Save it for a fight that comes your way, and just try and slow siege these buildings as much as possible.
I know, it's not like you're losing any objectives. In the meanwhile, the LGD team is a small push coming in the top lane and chipping away at the tower, but nothing major.
Denied.
Nice deny.
Yeah. That's probably with the treads, even with that plus 40 damage, unable to get the last hit. X-Nova sneaking in behind.
Oh, Pasha's gonna cut down the trees and route X-Nova from the side. They blow him up. Chalice is gonna TP in, but Solo, he's ready to go with the instant disables in the back line. They do have the relocate coming in, but no one hits them both with a big ultimate. Now they've got the control of the OD as well. Maybe trying to jump away with the Remnant. Solo gets away from some of these heroes. Chalice finally managed to pop that ultimate, but who's he gonna go for? He's still trying to track down Solo. Just pick up a 5-position support for this team fighting ultimate. That's just not gonna feel right. He does manage to get the kill, but can he actually get out 3 seconds? All his pandas are dead before that time.
Nicely done by VP. That's the big reason why they don't want to use that ultimate just for towers. They know their team fight is just going to be that much scarier if they've got it. The Ember Spirit just isn't able to engage. All they can do is sit on the outskirts of a fight and chip away. And when you're an Ember with level 1 Sleight of Fist, you don't have that chip damage from the outside. You've got a 30-second cooldown Sleight of Fist. We saw it last game. The first few fights LGD took with level 1 Sleight of Fist, they don't look pretty because Somnus can't go in and out of the fight easily. And it's a similar thing there where he used one slight Searing Chains combo, and then that's it. He's done. He doesn't actually get a chance to come back into that team fight.
Yule Scepter coming out for Death Prophet. So thanks to that good team fight, they'll have a big increase in survivability. Rupture ends up going down. The Blade Mail activated by Ame. It's hard for VP to return fire, but they just control of the Bloodseeker. Bloodright going down. Pasha has to walk out of it a little bit further. Roger's going to take the damage instead, but Primal Roar comes out, and the Finger of Death. Ame's dead. Pasha only at half HP can keep on fighting. X-Nova's next on the list. He's going to try and TP away, but no one is here as well. Virtus.pro just squad up all of a sudden. Turn around and take down LGD top lane. Oh, maybe almost caught Ramses, but now he's going to pull back into his doom. Roger helps them win a fight at bottom and top. We do have a hasted Brewmaster coming in hot, but a Yule Scepter will put an end to that haste rune, and he doesn't have Blink, nor does he have Primal Split.
Might need to be careful, but no Spirit Siphon charges
Back
left.
to bottom lane, FY's dead, no one TPs.
This is kind of reminiscent of last game. This strong VP early game, they get up to like a 3-4K lead pretty fast early on in the game. It's maybe, once again, you know, almost killing a core hero on a sliver of health and then getting counter-killed, much like he did last game as well when he went for a Tinker kill with his Ember. But we'll see if VP slip up again. The IO, once he kind of gets a few more items and levels, can sit behind these cores a bit better. And it was the LGD BKB timings last game on the Gyrocopter, this game on the Bloodseeker, that are going to be so key to look out for, because that's where all of a sudden VP will have problems team fighting, because OD's damage, very lackluster against these BKBs and very reliant on keeping people stunned and disabled so they can actually hit them with his Arcane Orb.
3-man smoke up from LGD. And they do see Beastmaster at bottom.
It was a ping. They saw the Observer would get planted, so they know exactly where this smoke is. They're TPing in. It looks like they may want to consider fighting it. Force Up and Blink solo. Often the guy tanking these smoke ganks is running in first.
They're still going to find Pasha. Pasha tried to poke his head out, thinking maybe they could sandwich this lineup, but instead they're going to run into a Brewmaster ultimate with relocate out. They can't catch anybody else, unfortunately. It is a lot of commitment for a Beastmaster kill.
Bit odd that he kind of runs in there from that direction. It looked like Solo was going to go and tank it, and then he had an OD Blink Vanish behind it. Perhaps that's what Pasha thought as well. Okay, if I run into them, this Blink Astral is going to save me. But he got caught out in a position that was too far away from no one's
Oh,
OD.
that mid tower just had one hit left, so no one blinks in and takes it instead of it getting denied.
Small little mistakes coming out from LGD that will very quickly add up. A VP side that is starting to snowball very quickly here.
3K gold lead, Virtus.pro sitting at 18 kills in 18 minutes. It has been an action-packed game, to be sure.
Yep. Next finger is up too, so VP probably ready to make some moves, and having this burst damage, you can be tethered by an Aya, but that burst play from an Alliance can always catch you by surprise if you're not careful.
A big difference from game 1 to game 2, though, is that we had 3 very good scaling cores from LGD. We had this gyrocopter combination with the Wisp. We had a 3-position Bloodseeker, which is pretty abnormal and definitely scales later into the game than many other heroes. I would say here, LGD, I think their lineup is supposed to be a lot faster. I think it's supposed to be a lot more mid-game focused.
Yeah, they were hoping that these Brewmaster split team fights would look a lot better for them, but instead it was VP who got up to the good early start and now is in a position to take a pretty straightforward Roshan. Pasha with the Solar Crest. I think learning from some of the happenings of game 1 isn't going for the Shadowblade pickup again. They haven't got any Shadowblade heroes right now, but he still opts for the Blake Dagger, wanting that more guaranteed initiation with the instant gap close. We just saw how well LGD played around the Shadowblade with Sentry Ward traps everywhere, with the gem in the mid game as well, so he's going to opt for a different build, and I definitely like the adjustment from him.
Better chance to get that instant disable on Brewmaster or Bloodseeker. Probably still difficult against the Ember Spirit. That's the one hero, right? The Shadowblade's going to be a lot more effective against.
Yeah, the heroes who can respond, and that is not the Brewmaster because of how long a cooldown the Primal Split is. I guess theoretically could blink if he's very fast, but
yeah,
much more likely you do catch him with the Roar. As far as dealing with the Ember, probably looking at the OD going for a Scythe of Vice after his BKB. Lincoln's on maybe's Ember is not queued up for now. That could very quickly change, but BKB is also a much-needed item for him since there is the Death Prophet as well as the Disruptor silences to worry about as well.
Smoke up from Virtus.pro gets a ward right next to that mid-tier 2. And they may spot this Ember Spirit if he thinks about, like, oh, this OD is going to push the wave into me, I'll farm that up. He pokes his head out. Fairly quickly get that lopped off. They do find the detection. Solo manages to find that ward, but maybe is wise to the gank.
He's not even going to try and defend this next wave. He's getting scattered out by a Hawk, though.
Can they do anything about it? They're going to jump forward, manage to get the Primal Roar, and with pure damage to the OD, they rip apart maybe.
Nicely played. Pasha on point with his initiation there, and does set VP up to press forward. The Aegis on the OD gives them that little extra lifeline, and Death Prophet's Exorcism up in 10 seconds time. But as I say that, they're going to TP bottom. They're going to look to fake a push mid, but really they're actually looking for some catches at bottom.
Get the commanding field, spot out X-Nova. Chalice says, see you later, X-Nova. No primal split, nothing. I'm just going to leave you behind. And that's fine, because Fenrir's getting a good push in at the top lane. He's tethered onto a siege creep, which is trying to take the tier 1 offlane tower.
Should be denied by Ramses, unless FY can make some kind of a amazing play, but unable to do so. And that's money on the map denied from LGD, who...
Are they going to catch Ame? Managed to get the X's. He gets the Blade Mail out, though. It's dangerous for Solo to go for this Finger of Death play. Meanwhile, jump in from the Ember Spirit with a TP out of the Wisp, and now Ramses on top of maybe. Not only does he miss out on the kill, he gives away 754 gold. Oh,
solo
no.
kill. Oh, man.
Ame, he's going to get dunked on real quickly. Gets the heal from FY. Keeps him alive a little bit longer, but the finger death is huge. Chalice, though, can still clean up both of these supports. With the Brewmaster, he'll take on the Lion. Primal Roar coming in. FY going to get controlled up by Pasha. Has to run away from that Witch Doctor. Still, though, he's maledicted. More damage coming out from the Brewmaster. He's dead. Disruptor did get run down by Maybe. So a nasty fight for VP. They got the Bloodseeker. Congratulations. LGD still win the fight.
That's the Io strength, and that is why Io's been off-map farming jungle for this long. Even with all the deaths he's had, he has a mech all of a sudden. He's able to sit behind the Bloodseeker, do that burst heal, force out those few extra spells to kill him, including the Finger of Death, and at that point, you've thrown everything to kill a Bloodseeker, and you've overcommitted your heroes, and the counterplay that kills that LG get very straightforward there. They just chase him down with the Brew Ultimate and the Ember rotation in, and that was 4 hero kills going the way of LGD. Not fighting around the Aegis of no one. They just got a little bit too cocky there.
And even if this lineup doesn't scale as well as probably the game 1 for LGD, they're probably going to hit this mid-game timing really hard. And that's why I think this game is getting a bit dangerous for VP as they feed away some of this gold. You're going to have BKB now for Chalice. Once you get BKB on the Bloodseeker as well, this OD is going to feel a bit useless.
Yeah. Triple BKB this early on, this mid-game timing. This is what LGD have kind of become known for. We'll have to see what VP can do, whether or not they can get those good initiations.
Oh, the tether was up in a half a second, but half a second is all it takes for Solo to get that instant disable.
Break the T2 tower. We'll look for the high ground play. 35 seconds without Exorcism, so it won't be a fast, convincing push. And LGD, while they don't have Brewmaster split, they aren't really forced to engage or defend this when Exorcism isn't there. VP will just back off. Double damage rune has spawned down bottom, which we saw last fight what it could do. It was Somnus who had the DD rune to solo kill the Ramsey's Death Prophet, and then even had a little bit of double damage left on that team fight afterwards, but not able to snag this one.
BKB complete. Ame quickly queues up now a Radiance as his 3rd item.
Both he and Brew have this queued up, so we'll see which of the two end up buying it. Definitely not an item you want 2 of.
Yeah, certainly not. Maybe Brewmaster. I'm actually not sure because they're both AC heroes too, right?
Yep.
Like Brewmaster likes to be able to hold on to those auras, but Bloodseeker, I think the increase in armor and minus armor would be nice for him. He also just needs raw HP against this OD. Or really, maybe a better way to prevent the Scythe that's going to come out eventually.
I think I like it a bit better on the Brewmaster, just because he is more limited in his item options. If he doesn't go Radiance, like to scale to late game, he's going full utility teamfight items. And we've seen LG do better going for these late game builds.
That is a smoke rotation coming in from LGD. It saves FY's life. Able to thankfully tether out. LGD not going to be able to find the kill, though. Virtus.pro still huddled around this Tier 1 tower, and this is why we so often talk about that mid-Tier 1, right? It just makes these sort of rotations that much harder. This kind of smoke could usually wrap through into the offlane jungle or something if that Tier 1 mid wasn't still alive.
Yeah, they're unable to get anything out of it, as they do save the IO while smoked up, as we'll see VP now.
Oh, they got the roar! Maybe tries to TP away, bit sloppy against a team like Virtus.pro with a Beastmaster Hawk to scout you out. It is dangerous to TP close to the VP side of the map.
Pasha's been really good this game with the pickoffs and the catch. Last game he managed to find a lot of them, but he was often dying to do so. This time around, only 3 deaths, and it's been very, very active for his team, who likely are going to wait for that next Aegis, which will have a cheese as well. And that's where you can get the Aegis on the OD as well as a cheese on Death Prophet, and you feel a whole lot stronger than having just an Aegis. And you've also just got a few more items. Having the BKB actually allows you to threaten the LGD high ground. That first Aegis just comes a bit too early to really have a big impact on the game.
You know, I really thought that LGD was going to start getting a lot more aggressive. I guess they did just try a smoke and failed, but I don't know. Maybe they're gonna wait until they have level 15 on the Wisp. That's obviously a big peak.
It's a similar problem in this draft as the last one, where they don't have that easy initiation. Once again, they've drafted this tri-core where no one has like an instant blink stun or a long-range gap closer like a Clockwork. Brewmaster has a blink dagger where he can blink clap ulti in, but it's not an instant stun. So many of these heroes can counterplay him that he doesn't really want to just be charging forwards looking for these kills.
Another great smoke read.
Yep.
By Virtus.pro. They just all run into the side chop area, TP out, knowing that there was going to be that smoke rotation cutting in from the left-hand side.
They're amazing about that. I feel like I just never see VP get caught by smoke gangs, or less than any other team. Last game, I don't think it happened the entire game, even though they end up losing it, but it was definitely not to smoke rotations.
And it kind of comes because of the wards. You have this ward in the ancient area, so they know they're not in the top side of the map. And then Ramsey's just met the creep wave in mid, thanks in part because he has tier 1 mid there. So it kind of isolates the area that LGD can be moving around stealthily.
Yeah, VP have just done a much better job keeping these lanes shoved out, both top and mid lane. Very much helped by that tier 1 tower you're talking about. See bottom lane continue to be in a good place for LGD. They've done decent job pressuring this lane, although they need to make sure in doing so that they are getting out without getting ganked. Problem is right now, Roach respawn pretty fast, VP commit an exorcism, happy to just use that one, knowing that they're not going to immediately transition to a push, they can wait for that exorcism to come back up before going for it.
Yeah, you could see LGD, they probably know now, but initially they weren't super confident because they weren't trying to like pressure mid and bottom lane super hard. They're actually playing just a bit scared at the time.
Do LGD fight into the Aegis? They saw the exorcisms being used. Often you'll see these teams go for a team fight even after a Roche, but scary thing is it's an OD with an Aegis, and I just don't think you really want to mess around with no one's OD right now.
Yeah, and given how cautious they've been this entire game, they clearly feel comfortable letting this game draw out a bit, and they're closing in on that Radiance. Right, it feels like when you've got 3,200 gold, it would be a damn shame if you forced a fight and lost your Bloodseeker when he's this close to the Relic.
Yeah, it's becoming this game of like BKBs versus BKBs, where there's 3 on LGD side, 2 on VP on their cores. So you look at like who counters the BKBs better. The cores of VP, Death Prophet OD, not too bad for Death Prophet, very hard for the OD, but I feel like LGD with the Rupture, we saw it a bit last game, this is just so good at kiting heroes. If you BKB as a Death Prophet when you ulti and you're Ruptured, you actually just are forced to stick still, and that's where LGD are able to just kite back and then re-engage once those BKBs wear off. They're just so much better at kiting around with their lineup.
Yeah, and they've got like that really good poke damage from the Ember Spirit as well. So even if you pop BKB and stand still with Rupture on you, well, you're going to have this Ember Spirit kind of like poking and prodding. Maybe you'll hit like some of the back line, some heroes, some supports that you can't really get to because you're stuck in one place. Relocate away. And immediately, Virtus.pro all coming here. They managed to catch with a Primal War. Now drop that ultimate. Chalice pops BKB. Ame's going to be kept alive by the Guardian Greaves. And now Pasha's going to be the one in trouble. He actually gets imprisoned safe for the time being. But now the OD is tossed up in the air. And he's going to be brought back potentially. No, LGD actually don't want to take that fight. They're going to play super disciplined right now, knowing that Chalice has already kind of used his big ultimate. Oh, no one's going to try and catch him. Instant blink. Can he get away? And it's going to toss up in the air, but the axes hit him. 2 seconds, blink away, it's coming. Oh, Pasha missed him. There was that instant guaranteed evasion thanks to the passive of the Brewmaster, so Pasha couldn't actually get a right click in to stomp that blink dagger. Instead, they'll get the Witch Doctor.
Was well played on both sides. Just such good Dota coming out. Chalice juking with the Earth Panda, but solo, well, not solo, no one finding the real one. Unfortunately for him, he gets Cyclone, then Pasha getting the axes on the split as he comes out of it, so he can't blink. But even so, Chalice still makes the clutch play to juke him out. Problem is now, you got to defend your high ground, and LGD have a Radiance now. We'll see if this is going to prove to be enough. It just feels very difficult to just go charging into this Aegis cheese. They may just have to bide their time and wait for Exorcism to wear out.
It almost seems like they're just going to have to give up tier 3 or something. Chalice is going to try and challenge with his BKB, put some threat into Ramses or something. The tier 3 is going to go down. The Blood Right, that's a lot of damage on Ramses now. With a Rupture down on him, if they can actually blow him up, but a big heal comes out, and Ramses is going to be able to stay alive. No one's quite low, though. He does have that Aegis, so Ami leaves him alive, focused on Ramses, who no longer has that cheese to be able to get himself up. Now, with all that extra movement speed, he can chase down some extra heroes. He's going to be solo, trying to TP away. Too much damage from Ame. Go next. Roger, he'll get out. TP's away. They did have vision of no one not so long ago, so they do know where he's at. They relocate successfully on top of him. No one goes the other direction. Managed to get the imprisonment out, see if he can blink himself away, but of course there's the instant spirit damage, so that's going to be his Aegis, and that's going to be his second life as well. I don't see how he's possibly going to be able to make it out of here a second time. because there's too much AoE damage. You just can't blink away against this flame guard. Tries to get over to the other side of the cliff, but a remnant from Baby will quickly follow him.
Those are big kills. Such confident aggression from LGD. The second they get the Radiance on the defense, the Brewmaster understands his role. Like, we can't really find his X's, and they're going to just take our buildings. I'm just going to BKB, walk in. He was 50 seconds away from Primal Split. That was purely to buy time for Ame to get back and for them to find that good initiation onto the Death Prophet, who, despite having the cheese, is incredibly squishy. We saw once that BKB wore off, they're basically able to kill the Death Prophet a second time after the cheese regen, and a lot of that is just finding their item timings, getting this Radiance with BKB. The Ember Spirit now level 20 has a BKB of his own, as well as a Shiva's Guard coming out. LGD suddenly looking incredibly strong, and they want to force this OD buyback.
Yeah, Beastmaster and OD really hate Shivas. This AoE slow, on top of the fact that your attack speed is going to be slowed down. OD hates that. And then just some added damage and, I guess, intelligence against the OD bomb.
Yep. And what's one this tier 3 tower, I think then they'll back off. They'll open up the shrines to them. As they commit further, they've got Primal Split. Gotta be a little bit careful. 10 seconds on OD to respawn.
Oh, Disruptor trying to come in with a Glimmer Cape. Wanted to go for a big Static Storm play, but he gets ruptured instead. TP's back to base.
Yeah, and they know they can retreat safely because the Glimpse is not there. Once that OD Disruptor TP's back to Fountain, the retreat play is actually available to you.
Are LGD going to back off?
They may look for a jump here, even into the Exorcism. They've got this Vlad's Brew split. They got some strong team fight items now with the Shiva's Guard as well.
Hey, Strewn for maybe.
Yep. As it stands, it feels like those IO problems from last game are starting to kick in. You know, it's this slow start where you got to build up, get to that level 15 talent. Not as strong this game without the gyrocopter, but still pretty potent. And we will see how VP respond to this, because once FY gets a BKB as well, how do you actually kill him on the back lines? That was the big question we had last game, and VP will be tested once more.
They do have that instant blink disable. It's going to be tough to beat if they can get the Scythe, and they've got another instant blink disable with Solo. So we are seeing the power of their just instant pick-off potential. PSG.LGD are now going to have to play a little bit of 4 versus 5 while Virtus.pro are giving control of the map once again. They can go for tier 2s.
Yep. Things may lead to the high ground even. They likely could try and force a potential buyback, which does not exist, so really nice pick-off to find there, and this is definitely the power of the support duo they picked this game. They did not pick a traditional 4-position hero. They got this Disruptor line, 2 heroes that both counter and can deal with an Ember very well. Force him to go with these items that are very defensive, and even with them, you can still get caught by a Blink Hex.
I like this Lincoln's choice from Ame to make sure that he can't get slowed down by the Primal Roar. Also warding away from the Blink instant disables. So that it feels pretty good.
Yep.
We're also going to have the AC for the Brewmaster, so just mass auras for him, Vlad's AC. That way he can still have that sort of presence.
And similar story to last game, he's itemized and got these talents where it's much more about being a right-click carry. The armor talent, the health talent, and the lifesteal. He's not getting this Blood Rite, Rupture damage, and then Blood Rite cooldown stuff. I even expect him to get the max thirst, movement speed, and damage at level 25 just because he wants to scale better. Last game it was Chalice playing it, but it was a similar kind of build, and it worked out very well then as well.
And he can rely on both his Brewmaster and his Ember Spirit to get some initial damage out to really get that thirst running. So that seems like another good show of synergy with the Bloodseeker.
I mean, for LGD, you just want these long, drawn-out fights. That's where the IO guarantees that almost. He can just keep on healing them, sustaining them, and making it very, very difficult for VP to bring down targets quickly. And as a result, VP is going to get lower throughout the course of these clashes, and that's where the Bloodseeker will shine. The high ground, VP go.
Did you mention...
Rams is just alone here, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. He's like, I mean, he's got BKB, TP.
Yeah, sure. That's... This is, again, the downside of the PSG.LGD lineup. We saw last game. There's no, like, instant blink stun. We're going to have to see some Ember Hex again or something.
Yeah, I'm sure Pasha is going to pick up a BKB eventually, though. Right now, he's got Nullifier and he's trying to work towards Scythe. So
that's going to give VP tons of lockdown for themselves. Just going to wonder how LGD respond, because when a Death Prophet can just stand on the high ground hitting a tier 3 tower and all 4 teammates were like the other side of the map, your lineup has some issues that need solving, which can be done through atomization. Right now, as it stands, LGD don't have any kind of a Scythe queued up, though, for themselves.
Oh, Axon Disruptor. Did you see that?
No.
He's almost got it. 250 gold away. Damn, Roger, where'd you pull this rabbit out of the hat?
He's about to level 20. That's the GPM talent as well.
Oof.
Things get even juicier for him in terms of his farm at that point. Lion even with decent farm, 8k net worth, has a Shadow Blade. Oh, Solo's like, all right, Beastmaster, you get the blink, you get the guaranteed initiation, I'll get the scouting, the fun items.
This is very rapidly becoming a game where LGD just will not be able to split apart.
Yep.
Not even this Ember Spear. Because again, he didn't go for Linken's. He went out just raw damage with his Mjolnir and BKB build.
Maybe was hunting for Pasha's Beastmaster there, but might catch him. See if where his items go next. Has got the Mjolnir queued up, which is going to be a nice little boost in damage output, something he can put on the Bloodseeker, importantly, and also, you know, Bloodseeker is going to get everyone very low with this. We've seen a few times this Blood Rage Ember able just to slide a fist and spam people down at the same time, so nice boost in damage, but doesn't help out against like that single target initiation. We've seen him get caught out, which is where Linken's would be nice, but perhaps it's just too much. And similarly, we've seen him unable to have enough lockdown, which is where the Hex is also a viable item. There's just a lot of items that feels like maybe can benefit from this game, and he's going to have to choose just one of them to get.
All right, surely this stalemate is going to come to a close now. Roshan is up. Virtus.pro have the much better Roche-taking team. They've got Vision and Beastmaster. They've got the Exorcism, which you can pretty much solo it up, but
yes,
it would be the best opportunity for LGD to once again get map control. It seems like statically, they don't get a ton of map control because the pickoff is so great from VP that they have to stick together.
Importantly for the PSG.LGD side, they've got that level 20 talent on Brewmaster, so a lot of extra survivability on his Primal Split Pandas, which are starting to look pretty squishy, particularly against the Death Prophet ultimate, with the Beastmaster aura giving a lot more attack speed for everyone. This big fight brewing is going to be a big deciding one with Roshan there. This is Roche number 3. Refresher Shard could be a game changer as well. What will VP find?
No one. Will find X-Nova. He may have denied the regen rune. Oh, they're going to be able to find more. Get the pullback here with the Hex onto FY. That's going to be both the supports dead. One of them buys back. Now Ame comes in with a Rupture onto Roger and starts right-clicking the other support. That's going to be Solo, who ends up going down. Rams with his... okay, Roar out onto Chalice. Now they're trying to win the Static Storm onto Somnus. Maybe he's in big-time trouble. No one sees his opportunity. Drops a hammer on him. Ame, he can't possibly fight no one either. He has to use that extra movement speed to run away from the team fight. LGD do not have the buybacks necessary. Maybe Chalice, with his big pandas, can actually fight some of this one. He's going to be able to take down at least one of the supports. Battles with Ramses a little bit, but 2 seconds time. Can he actually blink away fast enough with all those ghosts dealing damage? He does manage to get the blink away, and he'll join Ame in a second. Ramses, he's a little bit isolated. They're going to try and bait Ramses in maybe, but no one.
Bloodseeker's back and fully healed up, but probably does not want to fight into this OD, who's got 28 stolen in. Even without the ultimate, he's still pretty damn scary.
And the Scythe is back up as well. Both teams a little bit skittish of continuing to fight it out, but Virtus.pro, surely they're the ones who walked away with the win.
Pretty even, dead even, kind of in terms of gold. But both VP like carry stay alive. They kill the Ember while keeping Death Prophet and OD alive. So the key kills going VP's way, while Bloodseeker did have a very good team fight for himself.
And we could see, like, with this pick off here, I think the Witch Doctor was acceptable, but losing FY hurts them so much, and he did not have buyback because I think this Wisp really helps enable this Bloodseeker core to just be able to fearlessly run into the enemy.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely crucial that they have this IO backing up even Bloodseeker, Ember, whoever. If someone like Ember gets caught out in a bad spot, he could have been relocated out of that static storm if the IO is still alive, but it just wasn't the case. So really key that VP are able to find FY. The Shadow Blade on Lions really helping them to scout things out and get this vision that they need. And we'll see where VP go next. They don't have Excellent for a little bit here, 20 seconds, and they actually will go into the Roche Pit. LGD with the double damage on Chalice. They can bring this down pretty damn fast. They've got Blood Rage as well.
LGD is fearless. There is going to be a static storm inside of this pit. That is danger zone. No one's going to come in. Immediately starts targeting some of these heroes. They do manage to get the relocate out, but Ame, he'll be the one taken out with the Primal Roar. Baby's going to go for the back line. Does manage to take out Roger. Pasha is quite low as well. Next, Nova, he's trying to get away from no one right now. He does have Maledict on him. He can't deal with the Brewlings. That is a wealth of damage that he can't possibly match. And Ramses, he's in trouble as well. A sea of LGD heroes surrounding him, but he's managed to keep himself alive with the Spirit Siphon. Pasha gets a little bit more damage. Next, Nova has to be careful. He's trying to keep himself up with the Voodoo Restoration, while Ramses gets away from all of LGD. Both teams reset and back off. Skittish because of the fact that OD, he fought back. LGD don't want to throw that fight.
Yeah. If Bloodseeker has a buyback there, I'm pretty certain he would just use it and then look to clean up secure Roshan. He was 100 gold short, however, so it will not be a Roche going LGD's way. It was a tough call for FY there. He had the relocate save. He brought Chalice out of the static storm, thinking that the Bloodseeker could survive it and perhaps get his BKB off, but he died just at the end of the static storm. Couldn't use his BKB and heal himself up, and as a result, he's on the sidelines for a long time, and VP, even without Exorcism, is still in the Roshan pit. Need to be careful.
Yeah, with a Remnant pit, there's very dangerous proposition just going into it like that. Ramses, 80 seconds until his Exorcism is back up.
Just stalling this for Bloodseeker, because once Roche is getting very low, and if Bloodseeker can respawn, there should be a Roche that goes LGD's way with Exorcism down.
They're going to have to somehow, and I think that's why Ramses making himself like a target. He's putting himself on the front lines because he's the useless hero. He has to create space for no one.
Nope. No one's trying to finish off Roshan, but just can't do so. And now Bloodseeker is in fact back alive. Roche with the Refresher Shard. Wanted by both teams, and we'll see neither commit to it just yet. Caution being exercised by both teams. Definitely showing respect to this static storm of Roger. The Aghanim's upgrade, preventing the BKBs and the item usage has been crucial, and the Roche Pit is the perfect place to utilize that.
Yeah, I think it caught LGD by surprise last time on that Ember Spirit. They're not going to make that same mistake twice. Now, they do have really good pushing on the side lanes. Ember Spirit can just go wherever he wants and is able to jump into the Remnant, so that should be another advantage that LGD should abuse at this point.
Yeah, they're not really pressuring the side lanes that much. Bounty runes come up, no one wants to go grab them because of how important this Roche standoff is. Everyone wants to be at the Roche Pit or near it, except perhaps the Ember, who can get back at a moment's notice. Brewmaster gets level 25. I was just looking, there was like 6 heroes who are level 24.
Oh, he jumps in on Solo and does manage to get out the Primal Split. He just wants to kill one of these supports, but he won't be able to find Solo. Maybe he gets Roger, but that's hard.
Not sure about this Brewmaster ultimate.
Okay, they're actually going to try and follow this one up. They get the Rupture onto Ramses now. He's going to pop the Exorcism and just try and stand and fight, but Ame, he's dealing out so much damage. Does manage to get a lot of Spirit Siphon, heal out with the Glimmer Cape as well. He stays invis, and Ame is now out of his BKB, so he has to back up. Solo pop back. But LGD still want to try and take this fight. Managed to get the silence onto Solo. Now to jump in from Chalice. He has another Primal Split in just 3 seconds. Time the Primal Roar onto him. No one pops BKB, but he's ruptured up. He needs to be able to get this damage onto Chalice to make sure that Primal Split doesn't go down. He does manage to kill him. FY couldn't save him with the relocate away, but now he no longer has the BKB. He's a bit exposed to some of this magic damage, so he has to Primal Split himself. And no one in prison, jumping away. He's at half HP. Ame wants to be able to track him down, slowed down by the Spirit Siphon, but Ame getting closer and closer. Again in prison, but it's going to be maybe. You manage to capture him instead. Ramsey surrounded by heroes time and time again. He has nobody to be able to help him out. No one's dead for 2 minutes, so it's all up to Ramsey to somehow get away, and that's just not going to happen. Both cores are dead for 2 minutes now. Roshan's available. The base is available. The world is LGD's oyster at this point.
They blow this game wide open, and they're going to get mid-racks. They're even going to go for the T4s. They know there's no buyback. GG is called. VP have been 2-0'd. What a spectacular couple of games. These two squads look so damn even. VP trying to beat the IO for a second time, and once again coming up a bit short. This game didn't feel as much about the IO, but it still had a big impact. 2 ruptures in that last fight, the first on the Death Prophet, the second on the OD. That's how he ends up dying there, because he just can't move around the fight. And LGD just seemed to have all the answers.
You can talk about it, you can scrim against it, you can theory craft it, but it looks like you just can't seem to give this Wisp away.
It looks that way. If VP can't beat it, that was 2 games in a row. They even had a great early game, and the IO still manages to make big plays in the comeback. Like, FY didn't have as many key plays this game. It was just like that one relocate save at the Roche pit, but it's just that constant sustain, that empowering your teammates that is just so strong in Dota right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is Virtus.pro thinking forward in the future, trying to think about TI, saying to themselves, if we can establish in the last tournament of the year that we can beat Wisp lineups, then that just opens up a big drafting advantage, right? You can leave Wisp out in the pool. Maybe you get it sometimes. Maybe you give it away to the enemy. But obviously this hero and the way LGD utilized it in both Game 1 and Game 2 just looked really good. I mean, I think they're a strong Wisp team, too.
From a strategic point of view, you got to be thinking, you know, IO probably due for some nerfs in either the next patch or the patch after, so you want to be in a position where that slightly nerfed IO you can leave in the pool and play against. So walk away from this series, I think VP still has a better understanding of how to play against IO than they used to. It still looks amazingly strong, but we'll see this hero get some tweaks in the future.
All right, Virtus.pro down to the lower bracket. LGD will go ahead and match, Liquid in the upper bracket finals. So that is going to be one hell of a series. I'm not sure who VP end up facing against. It's the winner between Optic TNC. Oh, that series coming on later on today. It is all exciting Dota here at the Supermajor. That's it for this series. Back to the panel.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin Gods. That series, that second game was actually very, very crazy. I actually thought Virtus.pro had it for the longest time, but no. LGD just, they got IO. They made it work. It was a crazy draft. It was a crazy game. It was actually, like, right before the couple of 3 last team fights that we had, there was a bit of a stalemate. Both teams wanted Roshan, and both teams seem to be doing quite okay. Trent?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like both games kind of the same story, where Virtus.pro were getting ahead, going towards that place where you expect them to go. If you're going to win this game against the IO, you're like, okay, this might work. I see what they're going for. But they weren't quite able to crack it to the point where it was GG for them. And then it just always feels like you have the better options late with the IO.
Yeah, once IO reaches level 15.
IO is one of those heroes that just by concept alone, it's a very forgiving hero. You can make mistakes and make up for it. You don't have to play perfectly, where Virtus.pro pretty much has to play perfect to win this game, and they did play very well, but wasn't enough, obviously, to take this one down.
And no one had a monster game this, again, just dominating the game, but, you know, it doesn't matter. Black was watching the game with me downstairs, and he was like, yeah, VP's going to win. I'm like, nah, they have Wisp. And then he gets the BKB, Blink kicks. It doesn't matter. They're leading here. It doesn't matter. They win a team fight. They got a Wisp. It's fine. And in the end, they won.
They got a Wisp. It's fine.
That was probably the most important team fight for VP, and obviously it didn't go their way. So that was, once again, kind of the end of the road.
Yeah, a lot of ruptures. I love the play by Chalice this game on Brewmaster. Didn't really get to see that level 25 talent come into play until the very end, but what is it, like a 15-second downtime, I want to say, on Brew Split?
Yeah, it's around there.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Redonkulous. Thank you.
I mean, we give a lot of credit to FY's IO, but it was overall all of LGD played very, very well. I really loved seeing X-Nova on the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor hasn't really been all that successful for a lot of teams here and has been kind of falling out of favor, but this game kind of made me think, oh, you know what? Kind of good still.
It's true.
A couple of those casks, especially the one that was right outside this Roche pit, were quite devastating for Virtus.pro.
Gets kill on no one. He had a couple kills on the Pasha too during those team fights, just punishing him with his summons nearby with the cask and then instantly into the death ward. But at the same time in that fight, the IO probably saved that entire engagement by getting the Brewmaster out of the Aghanim Scepter.
Yep.
Disruptor ulti.
This game ended really fast. Like, at the point, we were... Basically, our setup when we're watching the game is we watch on we're having 2 screens, but we have our own 2 screens, and it's great. And a little bit further to the left, the Chinese stream's on, and the Chinese stream is slightly ahead.
Hey, why is it always 20 seconds ahead? I always hear them screaming like, oh, okay, something's about to happen.
Something's gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, we hear them screaming and the game's over, and we're like, it wasn't over yet. Like did not look like
Yeah,
they were
I thought it was
going
going to go on for another maybe 5-10 minutes at the very least.
Likewise.
That's just what happens in this late game. Someone uses buyback improperly, and you just die. Try to help the team fight to win it, and then you just die like this, and it's over just so quickly.
Yeah, no
They got
buyback.
so good cash on LGD's side, so it's just natural.
Just like that.
Interesting to see how much damage Somnus did this game.
Oh,
'Cause
we're gonna
it
see
felt
it
like
soon.
that was probably the most in the game, I want to say.
Yeah.
At least for
He
LG.
got another great Ember game. I mean, this was a first phase Ember, too. Don't forget, he got a lot of counters picked up against him and still had a very good game. So,
Barely.
certainly impressive stuff.
Barely number 1.
Well, Ame was pretty wild that game,
Yeah.
too. Like, felt like he was running rampant.
I mean, still, Ramses and no one high up there as well, though.
Yeah,
Virtus
this is
Pro
not
had
a game.
a good game as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Virtus.pro, it's not like they played poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, if they played if any other team played against LGD, against Wisp,
They would have died.
and they played even average, they would have
Yeah.
been completely stomped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the thing for VP. Every game they lose, it really looks hard for opponent. Every time, you know. And they never have a bad game, honestly. Like even these 2 games, they get the early lead even and just look to almost be winning, but then they're playing against the Wisp, so hey, can't win them all.
Do you think Virtus.pro got out of this series what they wanted? Because obviously they let IO through with a reason, and sure, preferably they would want to win this series, but you learn a lot facing an IO on the caliber of LGD.
I think you'd rather just win. Upper bracket final sounds pretty good to me, you know?
Well,
I'd rather
Gods
be
was
there.
it was either Gods or Cap kind of talking about how Hero's going to get changed, so they're getting some practice now, but the Hero's going to be changed, so
There's
maybe that
gotta be a
practice isn't
patch.
going to be that helpful.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
might
know.
not even be relevant, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very stubborn from VP. I loved seeing it because it's very entertaining from our perspective at the very least, but obviously did not work out.
Did not. Any MVP, by the way?
I think it's either Chalice or Somnus, personally.
We already
I'll
gave
let
it
you
to
pick,
Somnus in
buddy.
the past. I would like to give it to Chalice.
Do it.
Bulldog, as an offlaner, what do you think of Chalice offline?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So
Not bad. Not bad.
not bad. He played a good Brewmaster for sure. I don't feel like he stood out so much this game. It was more of a team effort this game for sure. So yeah, it was alright. It's alright. I think S4 is better, but he's eliminated because he's on EG.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Always find your way
Can't
back
win
there.
them all. Chalice.
I mean,
MVP.
what is there to say, guys? I mean, they gave up the IO twice. They tried. It was
Predicted,
exciting.
too. Right
yeah,
here.
we got him. We got him.
Got to.
It was.
can't
Yeah.
be
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Well,
yeah.
you said they would ban it partially.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Solid
We
effort
have
there.
some brackets for you guys. This was of course a series that a lot of people were looking forward to, and there is still a chance that we're going to see it later on. But it is all up to LGD for winning their upper bracket finals against Liquid, and Virtus.pro has to make their way through the lower bracket. Their opponent
Oh, boy.
is Optic or TNC, which is so
If-
unfortunate for both of those
If
teams.
Optic wins, that's just a rematch versus VP, where VP completely destroyed them.
And these two
That's
teams,
rough.
Optic and TNC, they need to win. They're the only 2 teams in here that can still change their DPC point
Yeah, and
invite status.
Optic only needs to beat VP, right? as
Only
well.
VP and TNC.
And, yeah, and then they invited TI.
Yes,
All right,
correct.
Wow.
So it's not going to happen then.
Yeah,
Hey,
There-
they beat them before. I think it was a best of 1.
that is a
but
brick wall right there. That is tough.
hey, it's the green wall, baby.
True. If they get IO,
There you
Maybe
go.
VP
Maybe.
Maybe Zai
VP
IO.
needs more practice against IO, I think.
Okay. Good choice.
Good choice
Maybe
indeed.
PPD can give a little talk to Solo, get some.
What is that?
This? Are you like paying him?
That looks worse than this was money, but it looks worse. Yes, I don't know which is worse actually. Up to you guys to decide.
All right. With that being said, it is time to take a break. When we're back, lower bracket, elimination time. And no one else liked this better than Red Eye, so I'm going to let myself be replaced once more as he takes you through the rest of the day.
Coming up next, Optic Gaming versus TNC Predator.
this game. Every time I hear your name.